you want to know where those dollars are coming from. So first and foremost, it's just nice to know, do I have to keep dumping a shit ton of money in Google, or, hey, look, these Facebook campaigns or these other campaigns that are driving this other referring website is driving more ads. I can pump more money there. So you can actually reallocate. I think that's the biggest one.
Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Strategy with Jason. I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's hot outside, but it's cool in here. I'm here with the one, the only, I've been told, famous. His team asked me to say, no, I'm just kidding. I have Jonathan. What's going on, man?
What's
How
up,
you
brother?
doing with call tracking metrics? Hey, man, thanks for taking the time to come up here and jam with me.
No, absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you for having the time. And it is much cooler here than it is out there. It's hot out there, man.
It's toasty, isn't it?
It's dusty.
And dusty. Did you stay up last night and watch the building blow up outside?
I actually got woke up from the blow up.
The whole building was shaking.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I know it sounds weird, but we're here in Las Vegas. We're at the MGM Grand, and they just blew up the old Tropicana last night, and the entire building was like shaking like crazy. So
Yeah.
I got woke up.
It was
too.
pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yep.
That's good. Well, Jonathan, man, thanks for taking the time to come jam with me. We got some super cool topics we're going to get into. Definitely some rabbit holes, I can guarantee you, and I will have a tendency of doing that. I will try to pull myself out, but I love these topics, so I have a tendency of going squirrel, but I'll try to stay on point because I just love these topics. They're one of my favorites. But before we get into it, I'm just fundamentally fascinated from a company perspective, right? Like, why companies decide to get in the automotive industry sometimes baffles me just a little bit. I guess maybe you like pain. I don't know. But like, what was your guys' like decisioning? What was that aha moment for like call tracking metrics to go like, yeah, let's go in the automotive business because that makes sense. I'm just curious, how'd that go for you?
Yeah. If it was so far, as much as I know from the process, I've been with the company almost 7 years. We've been around about 14, give or take. But I think some of it might have just kind of, it chose us rather than we chose it.
Okay, all right.
You know, sometimes somebody comes knocking on the door, you answer, and you make a partnership. But yeah, we signed a couple nice clients early on and saw an opening in the space. Great part about our product is, it really provides a good attribution, especially for high dollar, high ticket items or persons or things that you might be selling and servicing. So yeah, I mean, it's a perfect match. I mean, you're selling $40,000 to $100,000 cars. You want to get some ROI where those dollars are coming from. So, but it's a good story. We stumbled onto it and we're doing good with it. So.
Well, and the cool thing is you guys have been doing this for a while. Yeah. I mean, like I definitely have a lot of friends that are utilizing your guys' solution. You know, the reporting has just gotten phenomenally better over the years. You know, and you guys, and I think you guys have always kind of stayed on top of the attribution level. I mean, I remember, like maybe I'm dating myself, but when I remember the phone being next to me in my sales office with one of those little stickers that said like, pick me up, I make you money. Do you remember that?
That's right. Money's on the phone.
And I think when I started in the business, that, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, and it's still not that it's not. It's, there are other mediums I've kind of shifted over a bit, but still, I mean, the core, look, you get the tonality, the personal connection. It happens on the phone, and to be able to attribute that's awesome. Okay, so here's what I want to get into in our first little rabbit hole today, and it is the rabbit hole of attribution. Look, there's so many different models. There's so many different ways to approach it. We got talking a little bit before we started recording. There are definitely some companies out there that, I would say have a little bit of snake oil in their models. So let's get into kind of how you guys approach attribution.
Yeah, so I think the start of it comes through the technology that we use. We love acronyms in the automotive industry, pretty much in any industry. So DNI, which is dynamic number insertion, but it really starts with a little snippet of JavaScript that we place on the website. And then from there, we do a dynamic flip of the normal number that you see. So then we attributed all these different numbers to all of your different marketing campaigns. So if you're marketing on Google paid ads, you want to track Google organic, Facebook, social, any other, digital dealer sites, things like that. We can attribute when the person then sees a different number, they call it, and the reporting shows where the number's coming from. So in an easy, before we dig the rabbit hole nutshell, that's what
I love
the dynamic
I love
is.
how he made it sound like the most easiest thing in the world. Hey, we do a little bit of this and then a little bit of that, and you get like
flip a switch here.
They've spent a little more time building this out. I can guarantee it. It's a bit more
right.
complicated. But no, I mean, I think, I think for D&I, you guys were probably one of the first companies out there really kind of go down that direction of, and for the folks out there who don't know what we're talking about being able to produce a dynamically specific number to each user that's coming to your website, which is a full-on game changer from an attributions perspective, right?
Yep.
All right, and when did that start? Do you remember?
Oh man, I don't think I really know the history.
It's been
we've been
while.
around 14 years. I know like our main
I
competitor.
remember you guys were
Caldwell,
super early to it for sure.
Absolutely.
So okay, so I get this dynamic number. Like I'm gonna play customer. So I'm playing customer. I'm on the website.
Get your purse ready, man.
I'm shopping for car or maybe accessories or possibly service. The number populates up there. I call. What happens next?
Yeah, so that's the one of the unique parts about our software. So standard call tracking would be call forwarding to the phone system, right? So we're agnostic to any phone system that you guys are using in your offices or dealerships, et cetera. But the other option is we're also a voice over IP platform, so we could be your phone solution. So you could actually answer the call through our software. We could forward it to your cell phone. You could answer on a mobile app. A lot of cool options from the answerability. But in a nutshell, we're just forwarding the call and passing it to your office. And if you guys have an automated receptionist, hey, thanks for calling John's, Honda, Subaru, and XYZ, press 1 for sales or 2 for service. We can route to those. We can also build those custom IVRs as well in our software.
Based on the pages too, right?
Yeah.
Like not the content itself can decide exactly where that dynamic number is populating and where that's ultimately going to, right?
Oh yeah.
Which I think from a customer experience perspective, like I gotta be honest with you, and you dealers out there watching, listening, I love y'all, all right? But I gotta be honest with you, I actually sometimes hate calling into your dealership. Like I'm not gonna lie, right? Like. It's sometimes it's like a freaking game of ping pong. Like it can be. Don't get me wrong. A lot of you guys are great. All right, but you know what I mean, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like I'm on something. I'm seeing something. I'm calling. I'm like, hey, asking. Oh, please hold. Let me transfer over there. And then that person rings. It gets to then I get a voicemail. And I'm like, okay, well then I call back again. And I'm like, okay, well I need this. Okay, no problem. Let me try to transfer it. And then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Our engineers are actually working on building out an automated AI response messaging as well. So you have that kind of ability where you don't need a person to be answering the call. You can still have, hey, please tell me your reason why you're calling today, and we can do that sort of thing too. So pretty cool. I don't know what the name of the feature yet. I don't want to misquote it. So
there you go. Well,
but we're working on it. Yeah, not off the press.
It's coming. It's coming. Well, I mean, no. The advancement in AI just in the last 24 months has been incredibly impressive. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me. You guys were so advanced in the DNIs and getting first to it. Doesn't surprise me at all that you guys are getting into the AI voice space. And again, it's just about creating a better customer experience.
That's it.
Wouldn't you say? Yeah,
I mean that's part of our mantra on our website and kind of our core values is we're trying to connect humans and technology to better the experience for everyone. So the different verticals that we work in, right? We obviously in the automotive space, but we're in healthcare and helping people on that side of things. So there's a lot of different ways where we're trying to do it, and our ownership and our leadership believes that. So, I mean, that's what it's all about, man. We want to make it easier. Everyone hates calling. There's no doubt. I hate saying representative. No, I'm good.
Or the parts, please hold.
Yeah.
Please hold.
Exactly.
Please hold.
Exactly.
Well, and I think about this, and if you're watching and listening to this right now, I mean, think about, and this is my marketing brain kicking in, right? Like how much time do I spend in putting together like a beautiful landing page with great offers? I make the landing page, maybe multiple landing pages specific to the audiences, so I can communicate to different audiences about think about like a truck, right? I mean, think about like 9 different types of people that are buying a truck. You got everybody from commercial needs to full-on families. I mean, heck, some trucks right now get better fuel economy than minivans do.
Yeah.
Don't you think that? Trucks are like the new minivan. Right?
I love, dude. The inside. I have a Dodge Ram. The inside of it, dude, is epic. I love it, man.
Right? I mean,
so big.
it's like, and you get the DVDs in the back now for the kids,
dude. It's wild.
It is. It's like the kind of the new family car, right? Yep. But I mean, think about this is my marketing brain. Like I said, I spent all this time. I'm building out like all these different landing pages, right? And it's all this different content, and like you're like, oh yeah, hey hon, check this out. Wouldn't this be like a great family car? And then you call in, and like you just get ping-ponged around. Like, I mean, like, it just as a marketer, I cry. I'm like,
Yeah.
I spent so much time building this very specific audience marketing. Like, I built my beautiful landing page. I built all my ads to be very unique and creatively specific to the audience I'm trying to target. And then they made a call.
Yeah. They make a call. Well, I'll tell you, that's the one benefit of being a salesperson in my life is when I call in, I'm already in that salesperson mindset. So for me, I can pre-navigate where I need to go. I can steer that combo. So that tip for you, maybe when you're calling in, steer the combo as a salesperson. You'll get to the right spot. You'll get someone hungry.
And I think that's actually kind of the cool part about what you guys are able to do.
Yeah.
It's like I can pick a specific person, right?
Yep.
Like if I'm running, like if I got a commercial vehicle guy and I got commercial vehicle landing pages and I'm running a commercial vehicle stuff, like honestly, I don't think you need to go through 3 or 4 people to ultimately get to me. Like I can set up the dynamic, I can set up the routing.
Yep.
It'll go directly to my commercial manager and talk about from like a B2B experience that is like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm looking at a landing page. I just read an ad. You guys are running a $199 biweekly commercial truck, right? And then boom, the guy that picks up, hey, it's Bill, commercial sales. How can I help you? Like, just how awesome is that?
So that's a great rabbit hole you talk about, right? Because as a marketing perspective, so I'm going to dance around this terminology. I'm not a marketer. I had to learn this 7 years ago. But there's, UTM marketing campaigns you're running specific, right?
Yes.
So if you're running those commercial, hey, I need a fleet of 4 trucks for XYZ, and you're running those campaigns, from there, we can track the tracking numbers to that specific UTM campaign and then as a feature called smart routing, but we can smart route that call to maybe the sales manager versus your new hire that just walked in 3 weeks ago and, they don't know how to answer that call, right?
Exactly.
So you can do really creative things when it comes to the routing and these numbers and all of your tracking sources that you're using. That's the marketing campaign tracking sources. I'm going to try and stay on the terminology here. But yeah, it's really wild when you start to get down to it. And I think that's the coolest part is it's customizable for each dealer. It might be one dealer, it might be a dealer that has 17 dealerships, and it might be the marketing agency or the automotive ad agency that we signed that has 400 customers and 1,000 dealerships across the country, which that's one of our clients, and it's like that's great because now everything's unique to them. So one client might need one number, another client might need 30 numbers. So it's really cool.
I didn't even think about that, but I mean that makes a lot of sense. I mean, so your clients are not just the dealers, they're also the agencies. I played in the agency world for many years.
Yeah.
And, that is one of the things that's always very difficult being an agency is being able to provide kind of that real world attribution point to it. I'm like, well, I was playing with the decay model, but then I went to the first click, and I might finish with the last click and do a little sprinkle of I don't know. You know what I mean? Okay. So if you're an agency also out there watching, listening to this, I think you also got to reach out to Jonathan here as well because I mean and I feel bad. I mean as a marketer, that was one of the hardest things, right? It was like you're trusting me with this large budget. All right, I'm doing my best to, put the creative in many different channels as possible, make it very specific to a user, and then they're like, so how'd we do? I'm like, good.
What do your numbers say? What's your sales numbers say? Did you do good?
So you guys are able to kind of track now, and that's all the way back from the call itself.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like most people talk about this connectivity into CRMs, integrations to any other solutions.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about that? What do you guys currently have right now?
Yeah, we can dive into that. So first and foremost, we're open API, which is great for any software. Just means you guys can really, we can connect with any software as long as they're open API. We get some engineers involved. So step one, if we're not integrated with you today, we can work on it, which is always a good thing. So always leave an open door policy. Right now, we're integrated with the bigger ones, your Salesforce that are not automotive specific, right? So Salesforce, HubSpot, pretty much any ones under the sun, Zoho, et cetera. We work with like third-party integrators. So what is it? Zapier, whatever you call it. They do zaps. Yeah, exactly. Potatoes. Make.com's another one that we integrate with too. That's another solution provider that marries up some softwares together. But in the automotive space, like Vin Solutions and some other ones, so we can if we work on it.
Yeah.
Right now, I think that's one of the things that we need to build up as well.
It's one of those opportunities. Hey,
Yeah.
and I think
Not afraid to admit it.
No. I think it's really cool. But you guys have the API, so you're willing. So I'll applaud you for you guys' willingness to want to help work with others.
Yeah.
Because, I call, like when I was a dealer, I called my vendors a stew, right? I had a dash of this, a sprinkle of that, a chunk of this, and really, I mean, I put all these collective things from my website to my marketing agency to my phone system to like I put all this stuff together, and it is supposed to taste good to the consumer, to my customer at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I had to walk away from some pretty decent products because their unwillingness to actually want to melt into my stew and actually work together. I also think I got a lot of vendor friends out there. If your friends out there, you guys are listening, I think you definitely also need to talk to Jonathan here because, as my mind's kind of going, like how awesome is it for me to be able to get that API that the customer had called, all right, pull that information, cross-reference that into a CRM, be able to send them anything from an email to a mailer to a text message, right? And then again, just kind of move them through, the multiple channels. But then also, I guess, because the cool thing with your DNI, you're able to see the multiple calls.
Yep.
And kind of block them into each other.
Yep.
Okay, that's sorry. My mind, I know, guys. I apologize. My mind's
quick.
already like going into this. I think there's just so many cool opportunities in there. But and I want to get into kind of our next topic because the cool thing is you guys just don't stop there. That's not all. No.
But wait, there's more.
You guys are doing some AI. Like sentiment, some scoring, and I still think that's some relatively new stuff. Like that's some new tech, and I think there's a fair amount of people out there maybe watching, listening that don't know necessarily what we're talking about. So let's go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
How you guys have kind of approached, let's call it, I guess, call analysis.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Call summary, call analysis. So this is cool too because it marries very well with the integration and passing data into CRMs, right? Because you can also pass this data that we're going to talk about too. So
exactly.
So I think it was, 2023, maybe springtime, late winter is when we started developing our AI features. We worked with OpenAI and ChatGPT, so we have a BAA with them to make sure data is secure and safe, et cetera. But that's our tool, that's our engine, right? That's powering our AI with the automation that we provide in our software, right? And everything we built around it. So we use that to do all the detection and cool stuff. So call recording's free. That's included in the services. So you can get basic call record and you can listen to the calls. That's great.
Sure.
But I literally had a guy ask me yesterday, he's like, I need something to listen to my calls and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool, you're just teeing me up, brother. I appreciate this very much. I was like, well, why stop there when you can just do the call recording?
But there's more.
It's like, no. So we can, you can basically set up, our workflow automation is a feature called triggers. So you can basically just trigger these cool workflows. And then that works with our Ask AI feature, same functionality. But you're basically saying, cool, detect this, take this phone recording. You're just talking to ChatGPT in our software and saying, great, on this call recording, were there any key buying indicators like purchase, car, or what was the make and model? So you can ask it basically a bunch of questions.
It's looking for some keywords, it's looking for some key data.
Exactly.
And extracting it from the actual conversation itself.
Yes.
Badasses.
Right, so you're going to ask all that questions, you're going to get data, and then you can pull in and see reporting on that data and that criteria. But the cool part is taking it to the scoring side of it, and based on answering certain number of questions in a certain way, rate this call from 1 to 5 stars.
I love it.
And you can tag it with the make and model, right? So if you're, I know Chrysler, my family have been Jeep people for centuries. Don't try and oversell us. It is. Right? So Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, right? They're all the same. There's all these different makes and models. So maybe it's Wrangler, maybe it's a truck, but you can have that tagged as what based on the analysis of the phone call. So from there, you could just start going, you can just build it's just endless possibilities, right? That's what AI is.
I could actually create a webhook to be able to pull that data and actually upload it into my CRM as a new opportunity.
Webhook, go ahead. All right, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I know enough almost about everything to be dangerous at it. Right? But no, I mean, I'm thinking out there, for dealers out there watching, listening, just to kind of like what we're kind of explaining here. I'm very confident that all of your salespeople track their calls in the CRM, right? Sorry, come on.
I'm a manager too. It's pretty good.
No, okay. But this gets serious here because this part actually does piss me off a little bit, and it was something I struggled for many years as a GM and as a manager and as an owner. All right, because I think of just the amount of money I invest into the branding of my dealership, into the marketing of my dealership, to get people to engage and take action and call into it. And the only effing thing I ask my team is to track it in the damn CRM. All right. I mean, I only spent hundreds of thousands and not millions of dollars worth of buildings and all this other stuff. For the love of God,
Just show me it's there.
just
show me it's
all right,
there.
I'm gonna slum.
Take a breath. Sip of water. I know there's water to your right.
But no, man, you know where I'm going
I do,
here.
I
Like
do,
how insanely. I mean, look, I put myself through a lot of pain as the general manager, right? Because I'd get up and first thing in the morning, grab my coffee, and I grab my coffee, and what would I do? I'd go listen to like 10 phone recordings.
Wow.
Right? I put myself through the most painful part of my day in the morning.
Yeah,
right?
get it
Like,
over with. That's
I
true.
should have finished it at night, but anyways, I kind of got it out of the way, right?
I like that.
But see, I could only listen to 10. I mean, I had to run a dealership. I couldn't just like sit there and listen to them. What you guys have done as far as like the sentiment analysis and be able to track keywords, but also pull key data.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's like a whole nother level. I mean, so I don't have to listen to just a random 10.
No.
All right. I can be notified of specific ones and listen to those. And I mean, the training and development opportunities here are freaking huge.
Yeah.
Look, here's what I want. Then my question.
You're
for you.
selling for this. Is
I know.
This guy's good. I like this.
Well, because I like it. All right, let me ask you this, because you've seen a lot of dealers utilize this. All right, what has been some of the best practices? I'm just like curious. Like you've seen, like what's the deal that they're like, hey, dude, they own this and they did this really cool thing with it, and it's like just been a game changer for them. What do you have an example, maybe?
AI specific.
Anything from the sentiment side?
Yeah.
Like because the data is only as good as how well we use it.
That's right. That's right.
Like you can present me the data all day long, but if I don't actually use that into some type of process at my dealership, it's kind of useless, right?
I mean, real quick on the attribution one, just to touch on that, and I'll get right back into the AI portion of it and the sentiment analysis. But we're all paying Google a shit ton of money. It just is what it is. No one wants to do it, but we have to do it. But I really want to know like how many of those calls and deals are coming from those paid Google ads versus organic. Like maybe you have a great brand out there. We get a lot of questions on, the main number that I always have. Like I always have my, Dallas Chevy phone number, right? Vanity numbers, like things like that. Like you want to know where those dollars are coming from. So first and foremost, it's just nice to know, do I have to keep dumping a shit ton of money in Google, or, hey, look, these Facebook campaigns or these other campaigns that are driving this other referring website is driving more ads. I can pump more money there. So you can actually reallocate. I think that's the biggest one. That's kind of
no. I agree. It's the biggest one because I think without it, you're missing a very big thing. Because look, if you don't have if you don't have a solution like this right now at your dealership, what you're doing is you're making decisions probably more or less on like traffic and like form fills.
Yeah.
Right. That's probably what you're doing, right? You're probably like, okay, well, hey, I'm spending this much money on like this ad source or this campaign, and it generated me this many form fills. By the way, if you notice, I said form fills, not leads. Anyways, I'll get up. That's another podcast.
We have a form reactor tool.
Well, do you know what I mean, right? Because like I'm missing a whole nother level of my attribution if I don't have that type of reporting, because maybe it is anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And we do the same. We call it speed to lead with form fills, right? So we do the same thing with that. But another best practice on the AI side, I think, is the setting up what you believe are your qualifications for a good qualified call, right? Those parameters. And from there, when you can do that automatic scoring, you want to go in and listen to 10 phone calls. What kind of mood are you in? Do you want to listen to 10 bad ones and like rip some people and see how they're doing? Or do you want to listen to the 10 good ones and see what's in the pipeline, right? Because there's two different folds that you're looking at. So I think it allows you to then quickly categorize phone calls without having to hope your reps went back and scored those calls, and depending on if Salesforce is updated.
Well, it takes all the manual work
exactly.
out of it, so my team
That's
can
right.
actually do what I paid them to do in the first place.
Right. And as a manager, like myself, like I run a sales team and partnerships team at CTM. So same thing. Like I want to be able to go in. So we also, use what we sell, and I want to be able to go in and quickly see, okay, who's had a good call, who has a bad call, and I could just read the analysis versus listening to a 14-minute phone call.
And the training development opportunities is freaking huge, right? Because it can be done in real time.
Yeah.
It can be literally like I can get notified. I can listen to it.
Yeah.
All right. I can say, "Hey, Jimmy, come over here real quick," or
you
"Hey,
can
Carla,
edit it.
come
Like,
over here."
What if you have a promo running and
Yeah.
you want to be able to say, okay, well, who's mentioning the promo that we have, right? We have a
dude.
5,000 MSRP or whatever that you're getting back, and cool, we'll put that in.
As a
edit
marketer,
it.
you're making me very happy.
That's what I'm here
You're
for.
you're making me very, very happy.
Right.
right
I mean,
now.
we're a marketing company, man. That's what it's about. So it's great.
Well, and so And I love this because, and I'm so passionate about it. You guys can't tell. I'm super passionate about this because it really goes into a thesis that I have for many, many years. And you all know, if you've been watching my content, you guys, I've talked about this 1,000 times, is that I don't count leads. I could care less how many leads a dealership gets. It makes no freaking difference to me. Well, we're up 100. I do not care at all. I think they're vanity metrics completely. The number I want to know is I want to know how many conversations you're actively in right now, and what is the quality of those conversations, right? That, like if you think about it, like I hire my people, you hire your salespeople because their gift of gab and their ability to connect and professionally sell something to somebody,
That's
right? Like I didn't hire them to reply to emails all day long and send text messages out all day long. So like my key is not how many leads, it's how many the conversations, the quality of the conversations. You guys are able to provide that even because you manage a team. I mean, how has that, funnily just impacted just your ability to manage? That's my next question. How has that been?
It's been a life-changing analysis and perspective,
really
to be quite honest, right? So, even just last year, we had a couple of my account executives went on to different positions in the company, and I had 2 new hires at once, right? So during that time frame, we're hopping on calls side by side, right? So we're still in the trenches, we're selling, and it's our product, right? A little bit different. But once they go through that ramp period, right? That 6-month kind of period of, okay, cool, now you're off on your own, you could do these. Now I can go back and easily spot check some of their demos, some of their phone calls, and it just makes it that much easier to be able to go in and do that versus having to really, sit on every call and listen to every call and the whole length of the call and hoping to click to the fast forward right moments, right? So it's a really invaluable coaching perspective, and then you can give those quick little nuggets right back to your staff, and it's powerful stuff, man. It's really cool.
No, I think there's so many use cases and business cases. It's ridiculous. When I had my dealership, I had a competing dealership relatively close to me. Closer than I think the OEM should have ever allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just thinking back to myself, like if I had this set up at my dealership, if I could get a keyword report anytime inside a call that other dealership was mentioned, holy crap, I would love to fast forward and listen to just those phone calls, just to be a fly on the wall and goes, well, why did they get mentioned? I just want to know why they got mentioned.
Yep.
And I'm more than likely it was probably because somebody's comparing something, because it was just, we were less than a 15-minute drive from each other. I absolutely hated it, but like there's just the truth of it, right? Yeah. And just like how awesome would it be to be able to kind of put that in to the side there, but then also be able to cross-reference that on the successes that we had against those individos. Oh, man. Anyways.
It's wild stuff, man.
It is. It really is.
It's one of those rabbit holes of the theme today, apparently, because you can go on big rabbit holes with that.
Dude, I don't know if you guys can tell. Like Jonathan, I'm a huge fan. I really am, right? And if you're out there watching, listening right now, if you're not using a solution like this, all right, you are seriously just, you're playing with one hand tied behind your back. In all reality, in today's efforts, everyone's talking about how leads are down. All right, depending on where you are and the product you're selling, things are soft.
Yep.
Interest rates are high. All right. Time on phone conversation is almost 3 times what it was before. And I sure in the hell want to know what they're talking about. Yeah. And what an amazing tool to do that. I know we're running out towards the tail of the time, but I'm just curious, kind of any final thoughts before we kind of let everybody go?
Final thoughts, man. I could keep going, right? No, I think it's just nice that, you can have, listen, we're in the software industry, right? Tech stacks are all over the place. I think one of the benefits of our tech stack is it can combine multiple tech stacks into one. Mm-hmm. So in the effort of economics that we're in right now, right, I think this is a really valuable tool that can provide a ton of information and potentially replace some other, tech stacks they might be using and just limit it to one, which would be nice. And then the other side of it is it's also a software that gives ROI. So those in management and marketing, and when you got to report to your C-suite folks and the owners, you can at least have that attribution. Say, hey, listen, this software pays for itself, right? We might pay, $500 or $1,000 or $5,000 a month for this software. But if you're flipping 10 more cars and 10 more units a month, it's not really rocket science. It pays for itself. So I think those are the things you think about, and it's great. We're open for it. Come hit us up, man. We're happy to do a demo.
Like I said, I love the way that
Booth
you guys
220.
are able to I love the way you guys are able to collect the data, but also make that data available and make it actionable, not just to the dealer, but also some of the other dealer vendors partners.
Yeah.
And dude, that puts you in another. For me, it puts you in another classification,
Yeah.
right? Because you're like that. You can't be more dealer centric, all right? If you're willing to say, look, hey, I got this data.
Yep.
Do any of you other vendor partners need it? I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And just, I think that it's so impactful to be able to really kind of partner up with a dealership that way. Hey, but,
one
sorry.
more
Go
thought.
ahead. Go
One more thought.
Absolutely.
Anyone out there in that knows maybe someone on some of these VIN and other automotive CRM.
Yep.
So I couldn't think of them off the top of my head. Hit us up. Get me in contact. I run our partnerships team. I'll set up some calls. We'll get some engineers on. We'll see what strings we can pull, man. That's what we're about.
I
so
might be able to help you a little
help out. There we go. Maybe we'll just direct that to Jason.
I might know a guy.
All right, good. Yeah, we'll set something up, man. That'd be good.
Dude, Jonathan, this has been so much fun, and I really do appreciate you taking
man,
the
you
time
too, bud.
to
Appreciate
come
it.
jam with me. Hey, for everybody out there watching and listening right now, if one of the biggest compliments you can give myself or Jonathan here is share the show, all right? Like, it means so much to us. It literally is the biggest compliment you can ever give us. If you have a friend or a colleague or a vendor, all right, that needs to see this conversation, please share the show. It means so much to us. Again, thank you so much. And for everyone out there watching and listening, hey, everyone, have a great day.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.